Hello and welcome again to Gila. This is Introduction to Influential Leadership, basic introduction. So glad you're here. So we will start with knowing what influence means because it says Introduction to Influential Leadership. So what does it mean to influence? Basically, it means to have an effect on by using gentle or subtle action. It also means to modify, to bias, or to sway, to persuade, or to induce. And this is what influential leadership basically is about. However, leaders ought to be influential. So to now say influential leadership, it's basically to emphasize on the importance of influence in leadership. Leadership is basically about influence. So it might even sound like tautology, but it's just to strengthen the fact that leadership is basically about influence. So keep this in mind. This is what influence means. As we go on, you'll understand more about how this applies, in leadership. The question, first of all, is what is true leadership? Now, I say true leadership because most people have misconceptions about leadership. And so some people think leadership is about control. Some others think leadership is about title or position. Some others think leadership is about being authoritative. Several misconceptions about leadership. So that's why it's tagged here, true leadership. What is true leadership? The real meaning of leadership. So first, leadership is not about control, but about service. We've handled service in leadership in our previous class, and this is to let you know that was everything that was said there is true. So leadership is not about controlling anybody, being in charge of anybody, as it were, control. It's about service. It's more about service than control. As a matter of fact, it's not about control. It is about service. So if you're not serving, you're not leading. Now, leadership is not about power, but about empowerment. So it's not about how much power you wield. I can do this, I can do that. These people are under my command. This is who I am. This is the position I occupy, or the title that I have. It's not about power. It's not about what you have achieved, but it's about empowerment. How many people know what you know? How many people have gotten to the stage that you're in? How many people, can do what you do now? That's the question. It's about empowering other people. It's about getting other people into the game, getting other people involved in what you're doing, getting other people into that position you're in, getting other people to have the same title that you have, getting other people to have the same influence that you have. It's about empowering, not about power. That's true leadership. Leadership is not about manipulation. So we don't manipulate people in leadership. So if you get things done by manipulating people, then you're not a leader, you're a manipulator. Leadership is about inspiration. So that there is inspiration, right? Not about manipulation. Leadership is not about people, as it were. Most times we hear things like, if you're not leading, if you don't have people following you, then you're not a leader. Well, that's not so true, because leadership is not about people. It's not about getting followers. It's not about having followers everywhere, all around you. Leadership is about purpose. If there is no purpose, there is no leadership. If you are a leader with no purpose, but with followers, you're not a leader, So leadership is about purpose. You discovering a purpose and you are about fulfilling the purpose. That's your aboutness, that's your activity, that's your focus on the purpose that you have discovered will attract I don't want to call them followers, but will attract others to you. That's the thing. That's what leadership is about. Leadership is not just about doing. It is more about becoming. So it's not just about, oh, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm getting done, or these are the accomplishments. All those things are nice, but the most important thing is about who you become in the process, because leadership is about self-manifestation. There's a whole lot to learn. So leadership is about becoming your real self, becoming your true self, and manifesting it. That's the thing. So leaders, in the process of becoming themselves, they inspire others, right? Someone might ask, do you become yourself? Well, you discover yourself and then you live it out. That's the thing. Okay, now my question to you is, what is your leadership philosophy? We're talking about influential leadership. And if you remember, if we back up a little bit to building beliefs, I think that's in part 1. We talked about your leadership style being influenced by your belief system. So the way you lead is directly connected to what you believe. So my question to you is, what is your leadership philosophy? What is your leadership belief? What is your belief system about leadership? What is your belief system about yourself? Remember, we said leadership is about self-manifestation. You are manifesting yourself. You're living out your true self. That's leadership. The moment you discover who you really are, what you were born for, and the potentials you have on the inside, then you're ready to lead. So what is your belief system about yourself? What do you believe about you? Do you believe that you're a leader? Do you believe you've been called to lead other people, or show people the way, set the pace? Do you believe you've been called to make a difference in the world? Do you believe there is something you can bring in? Do you believe there is something you can produce? Or do you think that novelty, production, innovation, creativity is for a certain few, and all you have to do is to wait for them to bring the answers, wait for them to produce the solutions, wait for them to produce the services and the products, and then you just use it? Or do you think there is something that you can bring to your world? That's the question now. Do you think there is something you can bring to your world? What do you think about yourself? Do you think you can be the best? Do you think you can stand out? Do you think other people can watch you on TV? Or do you think you're the one to watch others? Do you think you can inspire other people? Do you think there is something inside you that the world needs? What do you think about yourself? If you've not sat down to think about these things, then I would implore you to do that, because these are the things that drive, these are the things that drive your desire, your hunger. So what do you believe about yourself? What do you believe about yourself? What do you believe about your abilities? Do you think you have potentials inside you to change the world? Do you think you can change the world? Do you think you're quotable? Do you think people can listen to you? The first time I heard that I am quotable, that people can listen to me, that I can study, have an understanding of what I've studied, and produce the understanding of what I've studied, write it out for someone else to read and be inspired. So what they have read is not the original text, but what they have read is my understanding of the original text, and they can be inspired by it based upon my understanding of what I've studied originally. And then that I can produce something out of it, that I can create an institution, I can own a company, I can own things. The first time I heard this thing, it blew my mind, and I thought on it for a long time, and now it's being made manifest in real time. So what do you think about yourself? Do you think you were born to just keep working for somebody, have a job forever and just die? Or do you think you can be an employer of others? Do you think there is something that you have on the inside that the world needs to hear, or needs to feel, or needs to touch, or needs to be a part of? What do you think about you? That's the question. Do you think you're great? Do you think you're special? Because some people think they're not special. Some people think that the best things in life are for a certain few. Is that how you think about yourself? And based upon how you think, that's how you lead. And remember, we said your entire existence is a product of your belief system. So the reason you're experiencing some things right now is because of what you believe. The reason some opportunities have not come to you right now is because of what you believe. So you believe these things are not meant for me. But the moment you open your mind to the possibility, to possibilities, the moment you open your mind, to the fact, the truth, that the best things in life are yours, you will automatically change the circumstances of your life. You will not settle for less, and the right opportunities, the right people, the best things will start coming to you. But if you think, for example, in Nigeria, there's something called okrika. If your mind is set on that, that's all you will ever get. When gifts come to you, they come to you as second class, third class, fourth class, or second grade, third grade, fourth grade. You never really get new stuff because your mind is focused on, because you think, your level of thinking is just on second grade. To get a new stuff from a boutique, a new clothes, a new shoe, a new hat, a new bag from a boutique is too expensive for me. And so because that's how you think, it will never come to you. All that will come to you will be gifts from second grade, third grade, used things. But the moment you change your mind and adjust it, forget about whether or not you can afford it. Just adjust your mind and say, this thing is for me. The best things in life are for me. I can own companies. I can own estates. I can own land. I can employ people. I can produce things that the world will use. My products can be spread abroad. I can make clothes that people that can dominate the marketplace. I can do that. So the moment you start adjusting your mind, possibilities, ideas will start coming. The right people will start flooding into your space. All of a sudden you see differently. Where ordinarily you won't have seen opportunities, you start to see opportunities. You see businesses everywhere, while others are seeing challenges. They are complaining of problems. The country is not moving forward. While they are seeing challenges, you are seeing opportunities. Why? Because you have changed your belief system. What do you believe about yourself? That's the question. What do you believe about your purpose? Have you found your purpose in life? We have a general purpose. Now, this is for people who are Christians in the kingdom of God. Oh yeah, we have a general purpose. Anywhere you are, you have a general purpose. But the thing is, what is your specific purpose? You are born for something. And, we said that production or purpose precedes creation. The reason a phone is made is because there was a need, there was a purpose for it. So based upon the purpose, a phone was created with the potentials and the ability to meet that purpose, to meet that need. The same thing with you. You didn't just appear on the scene. God created you for a purpose. There was something he had in mind, and then he knew, and then he created somebody like you who would fit in and fulfill that purpose, meet that need uniquely. That means no other person in this world can do what you can do. No other person in this world can do it the way you would do it, because you were designed specifically for it, custom made for that need. Have you found your purpose? And if you don't find your purpose, you've not started living. The most important thing in life is to find your purpose and then to fulfill it. If you have not found your purpose, you cannot fulfill something you do not know. What is your purpose? And amazingly, purpose is not something you create, because you did not create yourself. You were already created for a purpose. Now your responsibility is to find that purpose you were made for and then fulfill it. And then guess what? The potentials in you were custom made to meet that need. The abilities in you were designed uniquely to meet a certain need. So are you aware of the abilities on the inside of you? Are you aware of the potentials you have? Because that might link you up to your purpose. And the way to find your purpose, like we said, I think that was in part 2, building beliefs, is to ask your manufacturer, not to ask your fellow product. We are all made by somebody. I can't ask, like the phone, Samsung should not ask Techno, what am I made for? Samsung will not ask a fellow Samsung phone, what was I created for? Right? The right thing to do is to ask your manufacturer, ask the person who made you. And this is why you need to spend time alone most times, to pray and ask the Lord, What did you create me for? Why am I here? Why am I here? Why am I here? These are questions to ask, especially now that you're young. These are questions you ask so you don't waste your life. So every day will be a step in the fulfillment of your predetermined purpose. Every day. When you wake up with purpose. When you go to bed, you go to bed with purpose. That is a man that's truly living. If you have not discovered your purpose, if you're just being tossed around by every trend, you're just going everywhere, no direction, you have not started living. You are basically existing. You're just basically existing. And there is no impact you can make like that. But you were born for something. Now, I want to show you something. All right, but before that, what is your belief system about others? If you think others are just there, they don't really matter, they don't mean anything, that's how you will lead them. You'll just be a controller, and every other person will be to you like a slave. So what do you think about other people? Do you think they are valuable? Do you think they are just like you? Leaders raise leaders. Leaders don't raise followers. If you are raising a follower, you're not a leader, you're just a senior follower. So the purpose of leadership is to raise leaders, and you can't raise leaders if you don't see leadership in them. So how do you see other people? Do you think they are followers? You are meant to lead the followers? Or do you think there's leadership in everybody? How do you see people? Do you think there is something great in other people? Do you think there is good in people? Or are you the one that has trust issues? You're always finding the negative things about people. You're always finding faults in them, always negatively criticizing them because you never see the good in people. What do you think? What's your belief system about people? Remember, we said your belief system can be adjusted, because your belief system right now is a product of what you heard, what you read, the family you grew up in, the culture that you've imbibed over time, your formal education, and all of that, all based on information, all based on words. But the question is, what was the source of those of the information you received? Were they based on truth? If they were not based on truth, then it's a lie. And what you need to do is to discard it and replace it with information from a truth source, which is God's word, which is the Bible. And that is the manual of truth that we have in this world today. Okay, now the world's philosophy versus the word's philosophy on leadership. What does the world think about leadership, and what does God's word think about leadership? Now, if you're joining us for the first time, this class is for everybody. It is not a religious class. It is for everybody. Gila is focused on truth. We will give you the truth. You can't find the truth anywhere except in God's word. Truth is what God has said. If you base your life on what men say, you are living a lie. And you don't want that. Okay? Because God created the whole world. God created life. God created earth. God created the whole universe and created the people in it, the trees, the mountains, and everything in it. So He is the best person to know what is truth. What is the truth about this? What is the truth about this situation? And that's what we dish out in Gila. Okay? So anybody, as long as you are open-minded to truth, you will get the truth right here. Now, let's see some examples. What is the world's philosophy on leadership? Now, I think in our class, I spoke about the Greek philosophy, which is ruling the world today, and how it came about. I gave a complete history, But then, what the Greeks believed were that leadership is based on charisma, the giftings of the gods at that time, That's what they believed. So if you're bold and confident, then that means you're a leader. If you can talk, you're very eloquent, then that means you're a leader. They also believed that leadership was based on outward appearance. For example, if you had blonde hair, blue eyes, and thin lips, you were meant to be. The gods have ordained you to be a leader. And based on that mindset, they saw every other person as inferior. And that's how come the slave trade came about, because they felt they were gods. Now, the people I'm talking about are the Romans, right? And when the Romans broke up into different countries and cities, they went on to colonize several areas of the world, Africa to Asia and all of that. Now, Nigeria was basically colonized by Great Britain. And so when they came in, and Great Britain, of course, was broken up from, is a fragment of the Roman Empire. So the Roman Empire had the Greek belief system, and I'm telling you what the Greeks believed. They believed if you had blonde hair, blue eyes, and thin lips, or you were automatically ordained by the gods to be a leader, and any other person that is not in that category is your follower. Now, this is what the Greeks believed. The Roman Empire took it up, and then these countries that were broken up, from the Roman Empire, that went about to colonize certain areas in the world, they had the same belief system. And that's the belief system that came in and brought the slave trade. So Africa, black people, you don't have blonde hair, you don't have blue eyes, you don't have thin lips, you're automatically a slave. The gods have given you to them to be their slave, to be their follower. And that's how come, the slave trade, was established in most of these African nations. So that's it. And it's still happening today. And that's how come we have people who are on slave trade jobs, basically, because they can't think about anything else. And when you're in that oppressed state for a long time, your mind is already adjusted to think like a slave. So slavery is mental. Same with freedom. It affects the mind first. You can never be free if your mind is not free. Okay, so now the world would say, oh, they'll give you certain laws and rules and regulation, and say this is how you should be. These are the things you should do. This is the kind of education you should get before you amount to this, before you're able to step into this category, before you can do this. They put up certain policies, and they say this is the measure, this is the standard, and that's what they put up. And so you are working with that standard. You're working towards that goal because somebody somewhere sat down and created a system and said, this is the goal. This is the only way you can become this. This is the only way you can reach this level. This is the different cadres, different levels, different positions and all. And so all you're doing in your life is to work to please, is to work to adjust to the system that a human being sat down to create, whether it's in the educational system or is in the work or business, wherever it is, So the question is, the point is they see you, as these leaders now are people, they are leaders somewhere, people who are, determining how the world should go, determining how the work system should be, determining how the educational system to be. Have you ever asked yourself, who sits down to create an educational curriculum, both for your country, wherever you are? Who sits down to create it? Why is this the standard? On what is the basis of this fact? Why this path? Isn't there another path? Have you ever asked yourself that question? Who says this must be the way? Because we've seen people break, these protocols. We've seen people break these policies. We've seen people, when they say you can never be successful if you're not educated. We've seen people who are not necessarily educated, and they are making great impact in the world, especially in their finances. We've seen people do that. So what are these laws? Who makes these laws? So there are certain people who are there and they think that they are gods, and then you are to serve them. But you need to understand how God sees you. And I just listed out a few scriptures here. Deuteronomy 28 verse 13, it says, obey the laws and teachings that I'm giving you, and the Lord your God will make Israel a leader among the nations and not a follower. So this is God's plan for you to be a leader. So this message is to you now, for you to be a leader among the nations and not a follower. So God sees you as a leader. That's how he does see you. Now, Isaiah 60 verse 15, it says, I'll make you an eternal excellency, a joy of many generations. So the question is, how does God see me versus how does the world see me? The world sees me as a mere employee. The world sees me as somebody who is just going to come in, and then maybe not really amount to anything. They see me as a slave, somebody who is destined to work my way till I leave this world. But this is how God sees you. He sees you as an eternal excellency. When you say your excellency, his excellency, high excellency. It's a way of according respect to somebody of high value. And that's how God sees. That means you're valued so highly before God. You are an eternal. That means your excellency is beyond this world. And in this world and beyond this world, you will constantly be so valuable. That's what it means. Constantly be so highly placed. So you are an eternal excellency. And you are the joy for many generations. This is how you should see yourself. So carry yourself, shoulders, your head up, your shoulders high, and be proud of who you are. You are not a slave. You are a leader. You are not somebody just who, you are not a nobody. You are an eternal excellency. And then Matthew 5 verse 14 says, you are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hid. So he says, you are the light of the world. So a light is somebody who, a light sets the pace. A light reveals what is, the light makes manifest. The light is for leadership because he's in front and he guides other people to where to go to. That's light. And that's how God sees you. So this again tells you that God sees you as a leader. God sees you as somebody who can set the pace. So quit thinking that you are a nobody. Quit thinking that you can't do anything. Quit thinking that you can't bring anything to the table. Quit thinking that you can't produce anything. You are the light of the world. And that means if you are set to be in front, that means you have every ability on the inside. You have all the potentials on the inside to make a difference in your world. You can make a difference. Your ideas are valuable. Your dreams are valid. Don't let anybody tell you you're dreaming too big. Your dreams are too high. Bring it down. Don't let anybody limit your ability, limit your potentials. Don't let anybody do that. Believe in who you are. Believe in how God sees you. And remember, God's word is truth. So anything else that is not in line with that truth is an absolute lie. So if your initial thoughts were not in line with this truth, that you're a leader, that you're an eternal excellency, discard those thoughts and start thinking like a leader. Start thinking like an excellency. Start thinking like a king. Start thinking like somebody who can make a difference. The moment you do that, your entire life changes. So I like to say something here, and just as we wrap up, trapped in every follower is a hidden leader. Trapped in you is a hidden leader. Every human was created to lead and designed for dominion. Leadership potential resides in every individual. You were born to lead, but you must become a leader. We'll talk about that later. True leadership is self-manifestation. We said that already. The purpose of true leadership is the production of leaders. We said that already. And truth, remember, so the way to become an influential leader is to walk in truth. That's all. The way to become an influential leader is to discover yourself. What is the truth about yourself? And I said the only way to discover yourself is to ask your manufacturer. And if you do not live out yourself, you're simply pretending. It's called hypocrisy. You're pretending. That's not who you are. Discover who you are, what you were born to do. Who are you? And when I mean who are you, I don't mean whether you're a boy or a girl. Of course, we know you're a man, we know you're a woman, But the question is, who are you? What were you born to do? Discover that. And that's the only way you can be an influential leader. That's the only way you can make an impact and influence in your world. That's the only way you can do that. Because leadership is self-manifestation. If you're not manifesting your real self, then you're pretending. Pretenders are not leaders. They are simply pretenders. They are simply hypocrites. So discover your real self, then you manifest it. Right? And there's an assignment here for you that will help you do that. Take a private retreat. When I discovered myself, I was alone. It was at night. I discovered who I really am. And I want you to do the same thing. Take a private retreat. Detach yourself from crowd, from friends, from family. Find a solo room, or find a place when everybody's sleeping at night. Then you can do that. Wake up and ask the Lord questions. Say, God, who am I? Why did you create me? And then he will guide you to the word. If you don't have a Bible, you can simply get a Bible, because your answers will come from there. He will guide you to the scriptures and tell you who exactly you are and why you were born. He will answer you because he's waiting for you to ask him this question. Why? This is the most important thing in life, to discover your purpose and to fulfill it. I look forward to hearing from you. You can type in your questions in the chat box, and then we'll answer it. Thank you so much for listening. I trust you learned a lot, and I look forward to hearing from you. God bless you.